and executing it. He's a very analytical guy, so you really have to make sure it's black and white for him. There's no gray, and he does a nice job of studying.
Can you talk about Yannick and the fact that, you look at the sacks he had 12 in the season that he hadn't, he's striving to do better than the season ago, the season before that. What it says about him that he's striving to take steps as he go and learning from going to the Pro Bowl and getting pointers from Vaughn. What it says about him?
It says what kind of a person he is, obviously. His desire and the way he's driven is he wants to be the best there is in the NFL. And he comes to work every day and does that. And you would hope that that also, filters down to the rest of the players, not only in the defensive line room, but in the linebacker room, the secondary room. How he's driven to get better every day, it's a great role model for the rest of our guys on our team. He definitely has a chip on his shoulder. That's the thing. We've known that since we worked him out right before the draft. He's a kid. He's a guy that is going to do whatever it takes to be the best. And we really appreciate that quality with Jan.
Todd, you're going to be coaching, you may well coach another 20 years, whatever. Do you appreciate at this moment how much an embarrassment of riches you have in the defensive line? Because it just doesn't seem like the NFL almost doesn't allow you to have that.
Right. I think you got to give credit, obviously, to the players, how well they work, and they come in and strive to be the best they can be. But you got to give credit, obviously, to Dave, Tom, Doug, of putting a commitment to us being quality depth up front. Being a former D-line coach, obviously, we stress that. We think it all starts up front. But we're pretty fortunate we got a pretty good back end, too. So I just think it's a situation we're very fortunate. Not everybody can do it, but that is the plan, is to always have quality depth and quality players up front, because that's where it starts.
Speaking of that quality depth, if you took that backup defensive line right now, how comfortable would you be if that was your starting line?
Well, I mean, obviously, we have starters and we have backups, but, and our starters are pretty good, but our backups are solid. There's no doubt. We got some inexperience with some guys, obviously. We got to get Dante back and get him on the grass to see where he's at physically. But once again, we're pretty blessed. I think a lot of guys would like to have the depth that we have, and we're lucky that we have it.
Is there any indication of when Dante might?
We leave that up to the trainers. The biggest thing we tell our coaches, and we get told this is, hey, we're going to coach the guys that are in the room. Obviously, Dante's not on the grass, but he's in the room. He's making sure he's up to speed mentally with all the stuff that we do defensively, and we look forward to getting him back. Hopefully, it's soon.
Teams and defenses get built so many different ways, but when you look at that 2016 draft class and just how it, sort of paved the way for where the defense is now, is it almost kind of remarkable how much talent you got in Ramsey, Jack, and Ngakoue?
Yeah, that was definitely a good draft. You can, and once again, you got to give credit to the personnel people. They go out and they find them and they draft them. So give credit to Dave and Tom. But it's a situation where we're just fortunate. I mean, not everybody hits on their draft picks. We're lucky that happened, and but it's also credit to the three individuals. They come in every day and they work and they strive to be the best they can be. Sometimes it's not always the case with the mental makeup of a player. We're fortunate we got good players and we got good mental makeup.
Do you embrace comparisons to other great defenses, sort of the last few years, Denver, or do you cringe?
No, I'll be honest with you. I don't worry about anybody in the league trying to compare ourselves to them or former defenses. The only thing that we care about is what we do. And, if we go out and, I put them in the right call and they go out and they execute, we have a chance to be successful. So, we worry about us. And we just had a stern meeting this morning that, we control how well we play. Nobody else does, and so we don't compare ourselves to anybody.
Obvious players talk a lot about achieving greatness. I mean, is that something you talk to them about, or you just sort of let them motivate themselves to it?
We've talked about it, but I think it's important that we get to this phase defensively. The players have to take control of it. It's a lot stronger when they take control of the room. Obviously, we were there to, obviously guide and help and push. But when they take control of it and they hold each other to that high standard, we're going to make some real good things happen.
Doug said that he wants to make practices much harder than games. You had that same strategy last year. How well does that pay off for a defense that really didn't have a lot of injuries?
Right. For us, Doug and I being O-line, D-line coaches, that was always our philosophy as position coaches. You can ask the defensive line when they were here, that was the philosophy, is to work the heck out of them, and when we get to a game, it's easier. We go out in a practice, we'll have 120 snaps in a practice, and it's only going to make us better. So if we do that, we challenge them, it's not going to be the first time they're going to be in that high-intensity situation, and we're going to see how well they respond in those situations if we practice like that.
Can you break down what you've seen from Taven, Brian, and Ronnie Harrison so far through camp?
Taven obviously is a big, strong young man. He's playing a couple different positions, so he's learning as he goes along. But we see a real good run defender, stout at the point, plays with good energy. We really like how he runs and gets after the football. We'll continue to develop him as a pass rusher. I think he can go outside, he can go inside, and we're going to continue to develop him in that aspect. Ronnie's a guy that can play in the box, he can play in the back. It's very important with how we play our system, with both safeties can go down, and he has the ability to play not only strong but free safety. So we've seen a lot of good things out of him. Once again, he's continuing to grow. We're going to find out, as an entire defense, how well we tackle here in the next month. We haven't really tackled yet. In practice, you see some leverage situations show up where it's going to be tough to make some of these plays, and we're going to find out with everybody how well they can tackle, and that's the thing that we're concerned with.
Some of the guys have been in here and they've talked about the next step for this defense is finishing games. I think Clay said there were 4 games in which they had chances to. So what do you preach in practice? What do you do in practice? What do you emphasize to them to get them to be better?
Well, situational football, we get into a 4-minute, we got to get a stop. 2-minute, not allowing a field goal to continue to get to overtime. We're going to put them in positions where it's really up to us defensively to try to win football games. And when that happens, we got to make sure that we stay true to our fundamentals, execute, and we'll get off the grass. So we're putting them in a lot of those situations just to see how well they respond when the game's on the line defensively.
Personalities that you have on that side of the ball, do you appeal to their vanity or anything like that, or do you appeal to their, cockiness or something like that?
I just think we hold them to an extremely high standard. And that goes for offense, defense, and special teams. We feel if we hold them to a high standard, once we get to that standard, good things will happen. But if we don't practice well or if things don't go well, they're going to know it, And I think a lot of times they know it before we know it. And if we don't, then we're going to hold them accountable. We'll get in them, and we'll see how they respond the next day.
How much will you play the starters Thursday night? Will they play more in the series?
We haven't discussed that as a staff, or maybe we have. I'm not sure. We'll figure out when we get to Thursday how much they play.
Going back, you mentioned the workout with Young before you drafted him. Do you feel any sort of special connection because you were such a big role and you played such a big role in getting him here?
I don't know. I was sent out to work him out. I don't know if I have a role in that. I didn't pick him, but Jan and I, we have a lot of conversations, obviously, and being his coach for a couple of years, you develop a relationship with the guys in your room, and it's kind of carried over into the role that I have now as a coordinator. We talk a lot about scheme, X's and O's, his technique, and that kind of stuff. He's just a great guy to be able to coach, and I respect the heck out of him.
Did you come back from that trip sort of banging your hands on the desk saying we should consider this guy?
Yeah, I think we took him in the third, right? Is that what that was? We took him in the third. I think I was on the table in the first for him, but they know more about it than I do. I know when we didn't take him in the second, I was like, we're going to miss out on this guy. But they obviously know the draft board better than I do. I'm just glad we got him.
Has camp gone well on your side of the ball? Do you like where you're at?
I do like where we're at. I think our first unit has played well. We've gotten a lot of guys in with the first unit also, making sure that, the biggest thing is we got to be able to make sure we get to the regular season healthy, but at the same time, we got to make sure they're ready to go physically with being in shape, make sure they understand football in shape's different than just out running. But I like where we're at. We need to continue to develop some quality depth at different positions, the back end, the linebacker spot. and develop the rookies, because a lot of them are going to be playing.
When Marcel got here, Avery and him kind of became co-starters. How has Avery handled that transition, kind of sharing the reps?
You know, we talked to him, and I think we got 3 starters inside. You know, we got Abe's, and we got Sel, and we got Malik, and all 3 of them play about the same amount of snaps, and that's going to be important because they're all 3 different styles of players. So whoever takes the first rep, you know, whoever that is, we really don't care. But they're all 3 going to play, and they all know that we look at them as starters, and they all got to be ready to go.
Back in the unique draft, I remember you saying afterwards, you know, when the second round went by, you thought, okay, he's gone. Since then, have you run into any coach or somebody from another NFL team who has lamented that, you know, I was screaming for us to take him and we didn't take him?
Well, if we didn't take him there, I know the team right after us would have taken him. I do know that, talking to their coach. So he, you know, he was like, "Damn it!" But it was a good situation where we took him. And once again, it's, you know, they know the board. You know, we're always very, very selfish as coaches. You know, we'll take as many picks as we can get. So, but they know where guys are slotted and they fall. So it was good credit to them.
You guys indirectly kind of, yeah, go ahead.
Do you feel like if the draft was redone right now and everybody could pick and have that slot, he'd be a top 10 pick at this point?
He's got the ability to be a top 10 pick, you know, but he also fits our scheme. You know, he could fit a 3-4 scheme. You know, so he doesn't fit in everybody's scheme, but he does fit into, you know, how we're set up with a little end and a big end. I shouldn't say little, that offends you on a little bit, but he fits in well to our scheme. And, you know, we build it around the skill set of each player, you know, and I think our assistant coaches do a real nice job of making sure that they can do those skills.
Where do you guys
you guys kind of inadvertently feed into that chip on his shoulder, though, because you didn't take him to the 3rd.
Right. Yeah. And
I mean, it kind of worked out, right? I mean,
yeah. You know,
better?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to come into the building every day striving to be the best. And it doesn't matter if it's a walkthrough, in the meetings, he's locked in. He still takes notes, and he knows it really probably as well as I do. So it's just a credit to Jan. He's a great young man.
Where's your level of comfort in the nickel position? Where are you at with DJ in your role?
I thought DJ, you know, has had a great, once we've got pads on, you know, I think he's been playing extremely well. But we also have Tyler Patman in there. We got Trey Herndon. You know, I think we have some real good quality depth at the nickel spot. These preseason games are going to be big. Once again, we got to find out how well people tackle. You know, we haven't done it yet, but up until this point, you know, DJ's a good man-to-man player. He's really starting to excel in the zone coverages that we play and the instincts that it takes to be a nickel. And we got to find out who can blitz. You know, we're going to try to, you know, bring our nickel and that kind of stuff at times. And can he win on one-on-one battles? So those are all the things that we're going to find out in the games here in the next month.
Awesome. Thanks, Wash.
All right, thank you, fellas.